He was known as the Madman, the Prince of Darkness. Heavy metal icon Ozzy Osbourne died today at the age of 76. Today, heavy metal fans coming together around the world to remember the life and legacy of the Prince of Darkness.
Fox 11's Laura Diaz, she's in Hollywood with reaction tonight.
I'm glad he got a last tour in and everybody got to hear his music, and it influences so many people around the world.
Thank you. God bless you all.
This is Ozzy Osbourne performing a farewell concert with Black Sabbath in his hometown of Birmingham, England, just weeks before his passing. The heavy metal icon, no longer a young musician, showing signs of age, but reveled in performing the music live once again. Osbourne's family made an announcement Tuesday. It read in part, "Our beloved Ozzy passed away this morning. He was with his family, surrounded by love." Osbourne, a controversial figure with a flair for the dramatic, once bit off the head of a bat. The so-called Prince of Darkness was celebrated on Hollywood Boulevard this day with love and light. Heavy metal aficionados leaving flowers, snapping selfies, and sharing tributes.
A Suicide Solution, Over the Mountain, Diary of a Madman, everything on that album is the best stuff. Going to his first concert back in Long Beach, when I was about 13, my mom said, "No, you can't go." And I, snuck out with some friends of mine, and we went out to the Long Beach auditorium, and yeah, we rocked out with Ozzy Osbourne. Yes, sir.
Ozzy Osbourne started off everything for metal.
Musicians like bassist Sean McNabb praised his genius. He grew up on Sabbath.
When your heroes become your friends, it's a pretty cool thing. The music community is in mourning today. Rock and roll would absolutely not be the same without Black Sabbath. They started all of it.
But in a town of celebrities, Osbourne cut a swath on many stages. Star of the reality show, The Osbournes, Ozzy's rants were world famous. He also appeared on Dr. Drew numerous times, where he talked openly about his battle with drug addiction and Parkinson's disease. Dr. Drew was impressed with his openness on very private issues. He spoke to me via Zoom.
But Ozzy was always forthright, forthcoming, honest. His humanity was spilling all over the place all the time.
But the refrain most often heard this Tuesday was the love of his music, which opened doors for groups like Metallica.
God bless Ozzy Osbourne!
In Hollywood, Laura Diaz, Fox 11 News.
Well, the tributes to Ozzy Osbourne continue tonight, especially at our world-famous local rock scene on the Sunset Strip.
That's where Fox 11's Ed Lascaux is, and he continues our coverage on this story live in West Hollywood. Ed.
And Susan, this really is the mecca for heavy metal if you think about it. And when you think about that, you know that Ozzy Osbourne certainly left his mark on one end of the world-famous Sunset Strip to another. Let's get to it. We'll start it first of all on the Strip and the famed Whiskey A Go-Go. The marquee here says it all. Rest in peace, Ozzy. And so you go a few blocks down and you go over to the famed Rainbow Bar and Grill, and that was one of the hangouts for Ozzy, his wife Sharon, band members, so many artists through the years, talking about all the pictures in this shrine, this mecca for heavy metal that dates back to the 70s. Ozzy with Black Sabbath. So many of the folks showing up here tonight with their T-shirts, Ozfest, Black Sabbath T-shirts, having their memories, talking about when Ozzy would show up here, not even to come eat, a lot of the fans would say, but they heard Ozzy was in the house, so they'd come here just to get a glimpse of the godfather of heavy metal. And you talk about these fans, their memories. That's why they had to be here tonight. And oh, the stories go on and on. Listen.
Come by. He was a great guy. He was an iconic rock and roll heavy metaler when he came in here, and people praised him. He was like the father of this metal church here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's no longer with us anymore. That's sad. That's sad for me.
And we all have the same feeling, like we need to come here. This is the Mecca right now. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's my favorite place to be. As far as rock and roll, this is it.
But Ozzy Osbourne, the Master of Reality, was my very first album that I bought with my own money.
Wow. Wow.
So that was it. I've been a fan ever since. I've been a long time fan.
We'd see him and, "Hey, Oz, what's up?" And he'd say, "Everything's good. We're going to sit down and have something to drink."
That's a nice memory.
Yes, it is.
now live, that is a very special memory. Some more stories. They say Ozzy would always come in his corner booth in the back. He'd always order chicken noodle soup. He'd say that it made his throat feel good for his singing voice, he would always say. One other quick story, ladies. He would come in with Sharon. He lived right across the street or right across the strip in a hotel back in the 80s. It wasn't going that well for Ozzy. So he'd come in and he'd eat for free night after night here at the Rainbow. And then when he finally got on a roll, finally started making money, finally became that big-time idol, he came back and gave the owner a check for $80,000. Said, you helped me when I was down. It's time I pay my way. So on this special night, sadness, but also a lot of great stories and fondness by those who had their life touched by Ozzy through all the decades.
That's a great story.
Yeah, that's really incredible.
Yeah.
And were you a fan, Ed, at all? I know you like, you know, the Rat Pack, but...
Right, different genre, but you know, it was the same kind of thing. It was interesting to me, that nice lady we were talking to who had the Ozfest shirt on, she was saying, you know, you like Sinatra, and I said, yeah, and she said, well, you know, they often said that Sinatra's music was the soundtrack to someone's lifetime, and she said it was the same way for her with Ozzy, starting back when she was a teenager in the 70s. They grew up with Ozzy, his music, Black Sabbath, and the mark he made on heavy metal. So yes, it touched so many lives. And interesting, that other fella, Jeff, was saying, you know, Elvis died, they remember that. They remembered the day when Sinatra died, as you were mentioning, Susan. And then they say we'll also remember this day as well, sadly.
And it's so interesting because a different generation, they only really know him from the Osbournes show. And that cry up the stairs, Sharon! All right, Ed, thank you.